Hello readers, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about the graphic novel The Many Deaths of Laila Starr by Ram V. These issues were originally published by Boom Comics in 2021. Let's dive into the overview. Humanity is on the verge of discovering immortality. As a result, the avatar of death is cast down to Earth to live a mortal life in Mumbai as 20-something Laila Starr. Struggling with her newfound mortality, Laila has found a way to be dropped in the time and place the creator of immortality will be born. Will Laila take her chance to stop mankind from permanently altering the cycle of life, or will death really become a thing of the past? The Many Deaths of Laila Starr is a 5-issue graphic novel. The story's tone is simultaneously somewhat comedic as well as really heartfelt. And the story starts with the Avatar of Death literally being fired from her job, and she's super upset about it, and so she goes to Earth to live as a mortal. This is a pretty fast-paced story for being 5 issues. You can read it really quickly. I read all 5 issues in just about an hour, with each issue involving Laila and the inventor of death in a series of conversations and pivotal moments within this man's life, and Laila herself learning about what it means to be human during her time living in this new vessel. So let's talk about our characters. Laila Starr is our main character. She's the vessel for death. In each chapter, Laila dies at the end of the chapter in different ways, and it allows for time skips with the inventor of immortality named Darius. As Laila was the goddess of death in her former life, somewhat coincidentally, every time she and Darius meet, he experiences loss, he experiences death. And through his experiences, Laila is able to learn more about humanity, what it means to be human, as well as about Darius himself, the inventor who supposedly is the reason that she lost her job. Along the way, she meets other characters, including a young ghost, a crow, and a temple who she's able to communicate with. Let's talk about some of the good and the bad elements of the story. The good, firstly, this graphic novel has a lot of really beautiful artwork, especially the variant covers. I thought those were just absolutely stunning. I love the color palette in the story, and the art in the story itself is also really beautiful. But beyond that, it's also just really thought-provoking and moving. I talked a little bit about there being some comedic elements, which I definitely think is true. There are moments of levity and moments that bring about joy, but there are also moments of real sadness and loss and death. But I think that dichotomy is super important to what this story is ultimately trying to tell, which is the reality of life. There are ups, there are downs. That's part of living and being mortal, as Laila is learning, as well as Darius throughout the stages of his life. In terms of bad parts of the story, I don't necessarily have any major ones. One thing I wish maybe the chapters were a little bit longer. I really enjoyed what the author was presenting, but I felt we could have even gone even more in depth in some places and even developed characters and side characters further, continued to make connections with all of these characters further to really just enhance the story that much more. I don't really have a problem with the 5 issues presented. I think there was a pretty clear-cut story that they're trying to tell, and they accomplished that within these 5 issues, more so just expansion of the issues themselves, as I think there are a lot of really cool ideas and characters and just general kind of world building within this story, and also mythology and mythos and religious elements of Indian and East Asian culture. Going into my final thoughts, this was a really enjoyable, quick read. Like I said, I really just read it in under an hour, so it didn't take a lot of time or effort. Mostly light reading, but there were also some parts of it that really moved me and I found to be really well done and emotionally charged and make you feel and think. And I love ultimately the mission statement of this story, which really seems to be about the miracle of life and how much of a joy it is to be alive on this wonderful planet. And I think that's always really nice to read these stories of hope and gratitude, but it's done in this really interesting way through the lens of an Indian deity. So, if any of that sounds interesting to you, I think this would definitely be a really good pick. I think this would be a pretty easy jump into the median of graphic novels because the story in itself is pretty unique. It's short, it's self contained. I don't think there's going to be expanded stories about Layla Starr or these characters, but it shows you kind of the beauty that can be done within this genre, both in terms of the art style and the storytelling that's being accomplished. So this was a pretty successful book when it came out. It was on a lot of best comics lists, including Variety, Entertainment Weekly, and some of the comics creators that I follow on YouTube and those kinds of platforms. So really curious if anyone has read this story, what your thoughts were. So feel free to comment your thoughts on those pieces below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.